You know, when we think of legends, we usually picture epic battles and grand myths, right? But what if I told you that sometimes the most powerful story of all is hiding in plain sight, in what looks like a really boring list of names? Well, today we're going to decode one of the most important family trees in history to find the blueprint for a king.
Exactly. It's a great question. We see the hero, we see the king on the throne, but the real story, the how and the why, is all in the journey. And sometimes that journey looks like a simple list of names, but it's actually a map leading straight to a crown.
And the legend we are mapping out today, none other than King David. Shepherd, warrior, king, his story is absolutely iconic. But to really get how this shepherd boy became a king, we have to follow that map all the way back to the very beginning.
Okay, so our quest begins at the very roots of an entire nation. It all starts from a single source, but then it branches out into 12 totally distinct paths. Each one of those paths is the beginning of a massive tribe.
So you've got Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, 12 sons, 12 tribes, and wow, 12 massive family trees. An entire nation's history starts right here. But for our quest, we only need to follow one of them. See it there? Judah. That's our key.
So think about it. Out of all these powerful, sprawling tribes, the royal line, the one that leads to the king, is going to come from just this one branch, the tribe of Judah. So let's zoom in and follow that path.
All right, we're now inside the family of Judah. And right away, it's pretty clear this is not going to be some simple, straightforward story of fathers and sons. Nope, there's drama from the very first generation.
Okay, so Judah's firstborn son, he's described simply as wicked, and just like that, his story ends. This is a huge clue for us right from the get-go. In this lineage, just being the firstborn son isn't a golden ticket. Not at all. Character and fate play a huge role. The line has to find another way to move forward.
So the line continues through Perez, but check this out. Look at the other branch, the one from his twin Zerah. Down that line, we find a guy named Akor, a man who brought disaster on the whole nation because he violated his sacred ban. This isn't some airbrushed perfect history. The record includes the heroes and the troublemakers, which shows you the messy, complicated reality of this family. And you know what? That honesty is what gives this whole story its power.
So we're following the line from Perez, and we get to his son, Hezron. And right here, the family tree is about to branch out in a major way. Again! This is another one of those critical forks in the road on our journey. Hezron has 3 sons, and each one goes on to start a major clan: Jerahmeel, Ram, and Caleb. Honestly, you could follow any of these family lines and find some absolutely incredible stories. But for the direct path to the king, only one of them matters.
And here we go. We are now officially on the royal road itself. This is it, the single, unbroken chain of inheritance leading directly to the future king.
Okay, the path starts with Ram, then comes Aminadab. After him is Nahshon, who was actually a leader of the tribe. Then we have Salmon, then Boaz, then Obed. Each name is another link being forged in this chain, another generation carrying that promise forward. We're getting really close now.
And here we are. Obed becomes the father of Jesse. This is it, the final generation before the king appears. We're standing right at the doorstep of the throne. But get this, even here, at the very end of the line, it is not obvious. Not at all. Jesse has 7 sons. You've got Eliab, the firstborn, Abinadab, Shimea. You'd think the crown would go to one of them, right? But nope. You go all the way down to the bottom of the list. The 7th and the youngest is David. The future king was the one that nobody saw coming.
So, we found our king. But what's so amazing about these records is they don't just show the successful lines. Remember those other family branches we passed by? Let's just quickly look back at Jerahmeel's line. In that family, we find a man named Sheshon, who had the exact opposite problem. He was at a dead end, with no sons to carry on his name.
So what was his solution? It was incredible. He married his daughter to his Egyptian servant, Jarha, and their children carried on the family line. I mean, think about that for a second. It's a remarkable little detail that shows that preserving your heritage sometimes meant you had to break with convention and adapt in really unexpected ways.
And these records are just full of these sharp contrasts. On one branch of the family tree, you have Jaelather, who died without any children. His line just ends. And on another branch, you have Jair, who became a powerful ruler of 23 towns. It's a powerful reminder that these aren't just names on a list.
They're real people whose fortunes could go in wildly different directions.
So, after all that, after all the dead ends, the strange twists, and this long, long chain of names, we have to ask the big question: why? Why record all of this stuff, especially the unflattering parts? Why does this list matter so much?
Well, the answer is that this is so much more than just a list. It's about legitimacy. It proves that David's right to rule came from a direct, traceable line. It's about identity. It defines the very structure of the nation of Israel. It's a record of a divine promise being fulfilled across centuries. And ultimately, this genealogy isn't just some boring preface to David's story. It is the very foundation his kingdom was built on.
So, the next time you come across a long, maybe kind of dry list of names in an ancient text, remember what we found here today. It's not just a record of the past. It might just be the blueprint for the future, which makes you wonder what other blueprints are still out there, just hiding in plain sight.